So, one of the ideas that the Frierdiker Rebbe talks a lot about in his Maimorim, and I don't know what your Mashpia tell you and teach you. All I can tell you is that when I was your age, you have learning the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimorim, and they speak to you. Not to school Chachashon, the Rebbe's Maimorim, but the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimorim are so practical, so in your face, like the Grushe Chasre, Trace Malach, Rabbi Chaim all the Maimorim there. You have to know, save Maimorim Kotracim, from cover to cover. It's not bad, but you have to really know those Maimorim, because it's Maimorim for life. It really is. It really is. It puts you, it doesn't let you be a shakrid. It doesn't let you be a liar if you learn those Maimorim. If you learn those Maimorim and you're still a liar, you didn't learn those Maimorim. So one of the nakudas that the Rebbe repeats, the Frierdiker Rebbe repeats in those Maimorim, another Maimorim, is an interesting concept. The Rebbe quoted it many times, but it's originally the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimorim, and that is the mitzvah shebeguf. He talks about the mitzvahs of within the guf, and he talks about the ave and yira, the love and fear for God, are mitzvahs. Midiyos brings the Rambam and now all the sort of So, what do we understand from this? And it's these Tammuz. What do we understand from this? What do we understand? That Chasidis, Chabad Chasidis, wants you to make a dent in your mitzias through having a little more Avas Hashem and a little more Yiras Hashem. And what is Yiras Hashem? Let's begin. Really, let's begin with Yiras Hashem. Let's begin with what's most uncomfortable, right? Ava is rah rah rah. Yira. Who's shaykh to Yira? I'm not the one to talk about Yira. I can just share. But I saw people who had Yiras Hashem. I really did. And if you reflect on it, hopefully it helps us. So here's, I think for all of you, an original story. My nephew's here. He is a Farbrengen. He said he drove down 45 minutes. You should have made it.
Just saw you.
We left. Anyway, I heard this by Yeshiva, my Shved. I heard the story. Mendel, you should be talking about my Shved. You were with him in Australia. You probably know more about it than I do. After the sale. Anyway, my Shved would come to Rebbe once a year, many times it was Yeshivas. I don't know, one year, I don't know when it was, in the 60s or 70s, he came, I think Sukkot's time, Yeah. Anyway, in those days, to come from Australia, from Melbourne, to Crown Heights, New York, you had to go through Singapore, Honolulu, Los Angeles, New York, and maybe even another stop. It was a very long hours, 30 hours, very, very long, much longer than today. It's long as well. I remember once at Qantas, I flew non-stop. It was 13 and a half hours. Anyway, but in those days it was a very, very long, double time. A Chasidus Shiyid, a Lubavitcher, doesn't eat out of the sukkah, doesn't drink out of the sukkahs, right? can you, Bacher, can you last on a plane 30 hours without drinking or eating? Yes, you can. Once you learn Chasidus, you'll be able to do it. Anyway, my Shver was a Russian Yid, a Russian Yid. It wasn't a question. I don't know why he chose that time to come. I don't know the problem. But that's the point when he came. Now listen to this. He comes to 70. This must have been probably Tafshin Lamed Aleph. Because the story is with Naftali Stulin, who left, I think, a shlichus to Los Angeles in 72, I think. So, 770 in those days, again, you're not going to believe this, Chevra. 770 in those days, Sukkot's time was dark. There was no one around. Avram Mayor had the Farbrengen, the Haftzen, wherever he was, and a few Chassidim, they had the Farbrengens, right? There was no simple base of shave in the street. Nothing. You know. 770. My Shver comes, place 12, 1, 2 in the morning. He arrives at 770. Comes in the 770. No one's around. The base is the shluf. Comes in. Naftali Stulin is the only one he meets. And I guess he's doing it. That is. Anyway, so he says, Naftali, I'm hungry. Tell him about 25, 30 hours. I'm hungry. Naftali says, Rabbi Chaim, he says, mitten der Nacht. Alles ist verspannt. He says, what can I have given this and what can I give you to eat? He reminds himself he has at this, in a closet somewhere, some bread, some old bread. Not like you get in Yeshiva, fresh bread. Old, verstunkene Brot, right? Stale bread. My Shver says, yeah, brengens. The Russian person, the guy didn't have what to eat for years. Come, a potato. So he's going to make a difference. Fresh bread, old bread, young bread, stale bread. A piece of bread's a piece of bread. He brings him the bread. Listen to the story. He brings him the bread. And he says, Rabbi Chaim, here. My Shver takes the few pieces of bread. And then, the hallway in 770 upstairs, at the end over there by the Yichud room that they have a sink, a little sink. Going to wash. As he starts walking to wash, he turns quickly back around to Naftali. And he goes to Naftali's stool. And he says, Naftali, who's the Zaltz? Where's the salt? Naftali wanted to all kite him. It's 1, 2 in the morning. There's nothing to eat. It's totally dark. I finally got you a piece of stale bread, and you want salt. He takes the bread, and he says, "Does the bread?" He's not eating it. But it doesn't have salt. That's Yerushalayim. You're starving. You didn't eat for 30 hours. And you don't eat the bread, the stale bread, in the middle of the night, because there isn't salt to dip it. Do I need to tell you more? So, Heather, what we have is Gan Eden. Gan Eden, orange juice. Orange juice and a Farbrengen. Luxury. Crown Royal, luxury. A little salt. That's Yiddish Shemayim. Where does that come from? Where does that come from? It doesn't come from tzos. It doesn't come from tzos. It comes from tzos. But it comes from being a Lubavitcher chosim. It comes from Chasidus. It comes from Rebbe. It comes from Chasidism. Yosef Sedel told me another way of the story. It's worth knowing. I don't think you know the story. Most people know. The Alter Rebbe had a famous chassid of Pinchas Roizes, right? Why was it called Pinchas Roizes, right? Well, why was it called? Does anyone know why? Not the Rebbe after, I'm sure no. Why was it called Pinchas Roizes? Huh? His mother-in-law, Shvige, was Roizer. Pinchas Roizes. Today we say Reizes, races. And one Achosid. You know his father was? The Penach Shklover. Second in the command to the Vilna Goyim. Second. There's the king, the deputy, had given Snagitship, the Snagdim, a Goy Noilam, Penach Shklover. Penach Shik was his last name. Penach Shik. Pinchas Beta Chosid. In those days, they sat Shiva for you, Kipshutoi. I don't want to know about you. You're from the cut. You're a kaifer chas v'sholom nachmod. It's not on and on and on. 2 years go by. Abramchik, what's your first name? Abramosha. Abramosha. 2 years go by. 2 years. They haven't spoken with each other. Because the father ostracized him. He says, gave five. Go somewhere. You went to the cart? Go. I don't want to know about you. By Hiyayoim, it came a day, and they were sitting, the father was sitting on a bench in a garden in a park. And he noticed someone walking, and he takes a look, and he says, He said, Kuk Daisy, my son, it looks like my son. His heart starts pounding. It's my son. The son that I rejected. Why did I reject him? Because he became a kaifa. But he's my son. And I really love him. He goes over to him. And he says, Pinchas. And Pinchas jumps up and he looks. Tata, father, it's a real story. This isn't from a fairy tale book. Cinderella. It's a story. And Pinchas says, Pinchas, hast du Bart? You're still wearing your beard. A yarmulke, payas, a lang rekel. I thought you became an apicaitis. A nice for. You went, what's going on? How did this happen? Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe of Shnei Zalman. He says, you have a Rebbe that you're his chassid, I'm his chassid. And he says, I have to meet you. I can't, there's something that doesn't add up. I have to meet you. So Pinchas says to his father, Tata, the Alter Rebbe comes einmal a Jahr. Once a year he comes, I told you that Damske Stiebel, the Lubavitcher Stiebel in Shklov. And when he comes as a Chasidis, and a Farbrengen, and Medavin, and Mechazet the Maimer, you know, Lubavitcher Shabbos with Alter Rebbe. With our Rebbe, the Shabbos with the Rebbe is nothing greater. Right? So, he says, come, and by night, Motzei Shabbos, before the Chassidim go back, those that live further came for Shabbos, he gives yeshivas. Yeshivas. What's the yeshivas? Tell me yeshivas. You can get the eyes from Alter Rebbe, Shreib the Kvittel, whatever. You ask, whatever. Talk to the Alter Rebbe. Because he said, Rebbe Shlomo said, if the Alter Rebbe can, Magen von dir, can take you, my son, who was Talmud Chacham, but to be such a Yid, I have to meet him. Anyway, bottom line is, it comes on Shabbos, Alter Rebbe comes to Shklov, a Gewaltig Shabbos, and a Henach Shklov is in the Stiebel with Alter Rebbe. Blown away. The Tfilis, the Chasidis, the Chazorim, the Farbrengen. It's mamish, mashu, right? As they say. Gewaldig. Motzei Shabbos, he goes into the Alter Rebbe, Motzei Shabbos. And these are the words. I heard this from Rabbi Yosef Segel of Yerushalayim. I heard it from Moshe Reichman, who was the son-in-law of Rebbe Shneur Zalman Havlin, who told over the stories. That's what he say. So, he says, Rebbe, kableni tachas kribafech. Rebbe, accept me under your wings. Henach shklav, Rebbe, henach shklav. Second in command to the Vilna Gaon says to the Alter Rebbe, I want to be a chassid. Kableni. Listen to what the Alter Rebbe says. Very powerful. The Alter Rebbe says, Reb Henach, in Rusach was the Polish and others say, Shabbos after Shavuos, there's what they say yeshivas, they call yeshivas. Praising the Eibishter, Torah, and different things, they happen to follow the Aleph base. You look at the Siddur of Yaakov Emden, you'll find it over there. And the Ois Tes, it follows the Aleph base. Phrases, Psukim, Ois Tes is like this. Tit, Mimenu Yoitzim Chasidim, ... I don't remember one or two words later, after, Oilam Habo. What does that mean? What does that mean? Heat, a certain cement, right? From that comes out Chasidim, Oilam Habo. And I'll tell you what it says to the Penach Club. The Penach says, though I'll give it, there's a certain type of tegel. The word teeth in Yiddish can be translated as a dough. Right? Dough is sticky. Tit. In Yiddish, the word is, in Polish Yiddish, a tegele, like a kichale, right? A kichlach. You know, the kichlach without the sugar, you know, it's kichlach. You by ticking, you know, you probably see in the shuls. Tit. A tegel. Mimene yoitzach siddur. From that are formed Chasidim. From the little Mashpia. Not a full bottle, a drop. A bissel, a little. And a shtickle herring. The tikkun. And Chassidim say to each other, L'chaim, L'chaim, L'shom and Aliyah, L'chaim, Zayin gesund, L'chaim. They wish each other. Mimenu yoitzach siddur. That's how you become a chassid. Und ihre Penach Shklove sind nicht gemacht geworden von dem Tee. Now Moshe, Avram Moshe, what does that mean? You're not made, not you, you aren't made. You're an Amshinover, so you're made from that tee. Because your Amshinover Rebbe is definitely made. I know him. I spent an hour and 45 minutes with him. From 5 in the morning till 7:45. Right. What do you mean that you're not, I'm not accepting you? Can anyone here believe that someone come to the Rebbe today and say, Rebbe, I want to be your chassid, and the Rebbe would say, no? It's hard to imagine. The Alter Rebbe told him. Now, how you learn Pshat, everyone can touch. I heard different. That's the end of the story. But to me, the punchline of the story is not the explanation of why the Alter Rebbe told him that. But it's what he told him. And what did he tell him, Chevra? He told him, I want to be a chassid. I want to be a Chasidism shabacher. You want to be a Lubavitcher. A chayal. You have to be made of the material. And what is the material? A bissel herring and a little mashke and Akichale, the Chasidiskeit, the Warmkeit, we used to call it the Bruderschaft, the brotherliness together. He do a Meisach Ramesha dort, Ramesha Rubin in Montreal. Without going into all the details now, because I don't want to keep you here. But the kid said, he says,
Where are they going?
Meshuge seine mir, ob it's zusammen seine mir. You know the story?
No idea where they're
Chaim. The little man Chaim. Tell you all these stories. Chaim. I did it, I did it, I did it. Hey, I did it.